In the fall of 2018, East Porter County Schools will begin using Blocksi as our classroom management solution. This video will go through all of the steps to get started with using Blocksi. You'll be able to set up your classes and will outline all of the features that Blocksi has to offer. To get started, navigate to teacher.blocksi.net. To access your Blocksi teacher dashboard, log in with Google. When you get started with Blocksi, you will need to create each of your Blocksi classes. Blocksi will import your classes from Google Classroom, so it is important that before you do this, you've already gone into Google Classroom and you've created your classes. Once you've done that, you can come back to Blocksi, press Classroom, and select the courses that you'd like to import into Blocksi. After selecting the Google Classroom classes that you'd like to import into Blocksi, press OK. This is your Blocksi teacher dashboard, and all of the classes you create will be here. Each class has its own tile. The tile will tell you the name of the class, the duration of the class code to enroll into the class manually, the class history, and you can easily delete a class from that tile. To begin monitoring your class, click on the title of your class. Now let's take a look at all of the tools available to you in the Blocksi teacher dashboard. In the upper left-hand corner, when you have a class open, you can see the name of the class, the duration of the class, and the East Porter default filtering policy. This student button will allow you to manually add students to your class, but if you are using the Google Classroom integration, this is not a necessary step. The Insight button will allow you to take a look at all of the data that's been collected after you have a Blocksi session completed. On the second line of tools, you have some blocking and allowing capabilities that will allow you to customize your student access during your class period. On the third line, this blue button, the Start Class button, will allow you to manually start your class. You will see your class code displayed. This code is what students would use to enroll into your class if they weren't already. Again, this is not a necessary step since you will be using the Google Classroom integration. There is a refresh button to refresh student screens, a pause button which will give students a heads up screen and will stop all of them from being able to browse or work on their Chromebook until you give them access again. There's a share and enforce button which allows you to direct students to different websites or tools. There's a message feature and an assessment feature which allows you to give students very specific access during an assessment. Throughout this video, we will go through each of these features a little more closely. The Blocksi teacher dashboard will allow you to see thumbnails of each student's screen as they are active on their device. If you click on an individual student tile, you have some controls that will allow you to interact directly with that student. First, in the upper left-hand corner, you can see the student's connection status. If the Wi-Fi symbol is green, the student is connected. On the right-hand side of that student tile, you can also decide to exclude or include a student from a session. The image that you see on the top is what the student currently has open on his or her Chromebook. And below that, you will see a list of all of the tabs that are open as well. The tools on the bottom will allow you to save a screenshot of student activity. The lightning bolt icon will allow you to enforce a tab for that specific student. The message icon will allow you to send a message to that individual student, and the pause button will send a heads up screen to that individual student. To edit the duration of your class, click Edit at the top and select a time. Click Save. When you are ready to start monitoring, click the blue Start Class button. Blocksi will automatically sync with Google Classroom. But if you need to force a sync to Google Classroom because you've made a change to your Google Classroom roster and you'd like Blocksi to reflect that, at any time you can press the Sync Classroom button. One of the major differences between GoGuardian and our new tool Blocksi is the block and allow list. This is on the second line of your toolbar. And if I click this drop-down arrow, it will open up for me. The block and allow list will allow you as a teacher to decide what URLs will be allowed and blocked during a class session. So of course, our East Porter default filtering policy will apply. However, if there is a URL that you need your students to use for a class period and you find that it is filtered, as a teacher, you can go ahead and allow that URL for that class period without having to submit a help desk ticket. You can do that on the fly. You can also do that if there is a URL that you'd like to block. I also just want to mention that if you know me, you know that I hate using the word block. However, there is a difference between blocking and filtering, and what you are doing is blocking URLs, and it's sort of unavoidable. I'm going to be using the word block a lot now with this new tool, Blocksi. This block and allow feature will only apply itself to that specific class period. So on Monday, if I come in, I start my session, I add a few things to the allowed URL list, or I block a few things for that class session, you completely start over the next time you begin a Blocksi session. Of course, the East Porter default filtering policy will always be in place, but as a teacher, during a class session, you have the ability to add additional blocks on top of the filtering policy or allow specific things that you need your students to have access to for that class period. What's really cool about this feature is on our end, we will be able to see the things that teachers are consistently blocking and allowing, and we can modify our filtering policy to reflect that. Again, this is a big change from what we are used to from our use of GoGuardian in the past. If you have more specific questions about this, let us know. You can only add specific URLs to the block and allow feature while a class is in session. So I will start a session and open this up. When you are ready to add a URL to your block list, you would click block. You would copy and paste the URL into this box here and then click block page. And it's the same for the allow. Open up the allow pages, input the URL, and click allow page. By clicking add field, you can add as many URLs to your list for that class session as you'd like. The lightning bolt icon, either up at the top or underneath each individual student tile, will allow you to share a URL or enforce a URL. If I open this up, I can import a URL and share it with my entire class, which will open the URL on the student device. However, if you share a page, students will be able to navigate to other things. If you enforce a URL, that means whatever URL you send out to your students will be the only thing that your students will be able to access during that time. All other tabs will be closed out when you enforce a page. You can share or enforce as many URLs at once as you'd like, and the students will really like that once you stop enforcing, all of the tabs that the student previously had open will pop back up for them. Again, you can do this for an entire class or an individual student. The last two features I will be going through in this video today include how to message students and how to pause students. To message the entire class, click Message All, type your message and press Send, or click the message icon under an individual student to send a message to just one student. To pause students and give them the heads up screen, press Pause, decide how long you'd like the pause to last for, and press Confirm. Students will then be paused from browsing and using their device for the exact amount of time that you set the duration for. Again, you can do this for the entire class by pausing at the top, or pause individual students underneath the student tiles. If you have any other questions about Blocksi, please join us on Friday, August 10th at 1:30 at Morgan Township Middle High for a half-hour Blocksi breakout session, or you can email me to set up a time to go through some of the Blocksi features individually. Thanks!